We're going to give my 2014 college football previews right now, team by team wise. Big Ten, West Division, and of course the Nebraska Cornhuskers. And last season, Nebraska 9-4. They did close out the season with an upset win in the Gator Bowl over Georgia. Of course, Nebraska's coaches, Bo Pel, done a good job. Has he done a great job at NU? I'm not so sure about that. Of course, he's averaged more than 9 wins a year. In fact, Nebraska has never failed to win less than 9 games per season during his 6 years there at Big Red. Of course, he's lost 4 games per year every season that he's been there as well. 58-24 record for Bo, and he's trying to get Nebraska to a conference championship for the first time since 1999. Plenty of offensive weapons, though, for Nebraska, including the running back Amir Abdullah. This guy only 5'9" in terms of height, but he plays tall, trust me. Nearly 1,700 yards for Abdullah, a senior, and 6 yards per carry. Big number right there. And he should get plenty of help this year in the backfield. Last year for Nebraska, they had about 2,800 yards rushing as a team, but Abdullah accounted for the majority of it. And Abdullah, as good as he is, just doesn't really have the body to take that ball more than 25 carries per ball game. So he should get some good help in the backfield from Terrell Newby and also from Imani Cross as well. So those guys will definitely give Nebraska some depth in the backfield. Kenny Bell, terrific receiver. He's back. Biggest question I have for Nebraska, 2 questions. Number 1, the quarterback, Tommy Armstrong Jr., he's a dual threat, got some quality playing time last year because Taylor Martinez was hurt quite a bit. Big thing for Armstrong, he's got to cut down on the interceptions. That's got to be a concern. And also, offensive line, you do return Jake Cotton. He's a talented left guard. They're bringing Alex Cross in. He's a transfer. But other than that, that's it as far as the offensive line. Experience-wise, we're talking about most of your starters not there. They've graduated, and they accounted for close to 120 career starts. So you're kind of starting over in terms of the experience. But if they can gel together, be cohesive, I think for Nebraska, their running game should be fine. And Tommy Armstrong Jr., that guy, he's got to be consistent. If he's not, Zach Darlington, a freshman, could be waiting in the wings. From what I heard, Armstrong Jr. did not have the best spring game in the world. But spring games sometimes, who knows how much stock you can really put into them. Defensively, front 7 for Nebraska, by and large, this area looks safe. Defensive end-wise, they're going to be solid in this area thanks to Randy Gregory, one of the best in the country, a junior, and Gregory will be up for Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year. Now, Gregory, he had 19 tackles for loss last year and 9.5 sacks. I think he had, matter of fact, I think he had over 10 sacks last year for the Nebraska junior. I'll be curious to see if he's going to come back in 2015 for the Huskers. I know the Nebraska fans saying, you know, please come back, because Nebraska in 2015, they got a lot of pieces coming back for that team. They could be really loaded for the college football playoff in 2015. What do I think about 2014? I'll let you know in a little bit. Secondary-wise, this is an area where the Huskers did not force a lot of turnovers last year. In fact, as a team, the Huskers were negative in that takeover ratio. They didn't get a lot of picks. And one good area, though, for Nebraska, at least, is a strong safety position. That's Corey Cooper. But the secondary has got to get better. And also, too, at place kicking, entering this year, don't be surprised if there's some familiarity there in the form of a Brown. Drew Brown. Sounds familiar? Well, his older brother is Chris Brown, a legendary kicker at Nebraska who went on to the NFL. Right now, the place kicking position is wide open. Schedule-wise for Nebraska, non-conference-wise, easy breezy. They really don't play anybody that scary. Even the game at Fresno State doesn't look that intimidating. These are not the Fresno State Bulldogs of old, at least on paper. They don't look that way. They look pretty inexperienced. So Nebraska should win that game despite it being on the West Coast. Miami is the following week. The Hurricanes, outside of the top 25, they got a good running back in Duke Johnson. But right now, I don't foresee Miami going into Nebraska and winning. So Nebraska should be 4-0. In fact, should be 5-0. Their home opener is against Illinois. Nebraska should win all of their Big Ten home games. They're not that tough. Minnesota, I think, is on the slate as well. Rutgers is too. The problem for Nebraska will be their road games in the Big Ten. If Nebraska's banged up or if they don't bring their A game, they're capable of losing all 4 of them. The Michigan State game, that's going to be difficult. That's a cross-division game. It's East and West divisions now, not legends and leaders anymore. They realigned the divisions a little bit. I see Michigan State winning that one. The game at Wisconsin, that game is right now, I'm teeter-tottering on that one. Probably give the slide edge to Wisconsin just because that game is at Madison. And those teams really have a lot in common. Both will really heavily depend on the ground attack. But that looks like a pretty darn good game. And I think that's a game that's late in the season. And at Northwestern, those teams have had some classic games in the past. Of course, Nebraska had that Hail Mary last year on the final play of the game to break the hearts of the Wildcats. And then at Iowa, now no, Nebraska's not taking that game lightly, not after what Iowa did last year by scoring a bunch of points and shocking the Huskers in that Hawkeye win. I think best case scenario for Nebraska, 11-1, maybe 12-1. Remember, Big Ten championship upsets have happened. They've happened at least the last 2 years. We saw that with Michigan State last year, and we saw that with Wisconsin beating Nebraska 2 years ago. That's best case scenario. Worst case scenario is 8-4, and that heat would really turn up on Bo Pelini at that point. I think 10-2 is the most likely scenario for Nebraska. It's close, very close, but I've got them finishing second place, a tie for first, but Wisconsin winning out in the tiebreak. Remember, Wisconsin does not play Michigan State. Nebraska does, so that's a big advantage there for the Badgers. And neither team, by the way, plays Ohio State or Michigan. So I got them both finishing 6-2 in league play, but Wisconsin winning in the head-to-head tiebreak in that situation. But for Nebraska, got them going to a pretty good bowl game, but finishing outside of that college football playoff. That's my look at the Huskers. I'll have another college football preview coming up in the near future. So long, everyone.